Hey there, welcome to Be Unmessable with the podcast. I'm your host, Josselyne Herman-Saccio, and today in the turbo tip of the week, I want to talk about clutter. Now, most of us are not a stranger to clutter, and it's no secret that clutter, whether it's in your physical environment, your home, your office, but even if it's in your mind, it creates chaos. It's distracting, it's overwhelming, and it's a silent and sometimes not so silent energy drain. So, a space sucker, as I like to call it. But when you clear that clutter, again, whether it's physical or non physical, you actually create space, create room for clarity, focus, and creativity. Also, energy starts to emerge when you start to clear the space of all the things that are clogging the space. So I want to dive into with you why clearing your physical and mental space is essential and how you can actually take actionable steps to do it and in a non-overwhelming way, right? So let's start with the physical space. Think about it. The last time you sat down and worked at a cluttered desk, how productive did you feel? What was your experience of working at a cluttered area? Probably not very productive. That's because clutter isn't just about the physical objects in your space, it's about the mental noise that they create. So every unfinished task, every unread book, every pile of papers or bills is a visual reminder of what you haven't done yet. It's like trying to focus while someone is shouting in the background, right? So you've got like noise in the background and you're trying to focus. Good luck. So now, conversely, imagine walking into a clean, pristine, organized space where everything has its place and everything has a purpose. It's like a breath of fresh air. Like you can actually breathe better when the space is clean. You feel lighter, you feel more organized, more energized, and you're ready to take on the world, like game on to whatever it is that you're creating. That's the power of a clear physical space, clearing out the space. So here's a quick little simple strategy for you to declutter your physical space. First of all, start small. That is the first step. Most people go, oh, I'm going to clean out my whole apartment. And then it's like they're never going to do it because it's too overwhelming. So choose one area to focus on. Maybe it's your desk. Maybe it's one drawer or even your email inbox. Decluttering doesn't have to happen all at once. In fact, it can't happen all at once. If you just take on a small area to begin with, you'll get the benefits of this practice, and then you'll be inspired and motivated to keep moving on to the next area and the next area. So, two, use the keep, toss, or donate method. So, as you go through the items, ask yourself, okay, do I use this? Have I used it in the last, 3 years? Or does it bring me joy? I mean, maybe there's something you haven't used in the last 3 years, but it brings you joy. Okay, fine. But if the answer is no, get rid of it. It is time to let that sucker go, whether it's to donate it to somebody who will use it or it will bring joy to, or just toss it, recycle it, get rid of it, get it out of your space. Then the third step in this little process is to create systems. So you create a system for everything that you are keeping. So use labels, bins. This is where the underwear goes. This is where the writing utensils go, pens, pencils, markers, Sharpies. Folders also work. Here's where all my important insurance paperwork is going to go. Here's where my paid bills are going to go. The goal here in the systems part is to make it easy to maintain the space once it's clean. So if you just, do your laundry and then just put stuff in wherever you can find a space, it becomes disorganized immediately. But if you have a drawer for your pants and a drawer for your workout gear and all those kind of things, then it's easier to place things in those. I mean, this seems so logical and simple, but people don't do it, right? But it's easier to put things in their quote unquote designed space the next time round. And then the fourth thing is to schedule regular decluttering. So, if you do this once and then you don't do it again for a year, it's not very productive. If clutter kind of creeps back in, it's sort of like you're trying to shovel snow while it's still snowing. So, set aside a time each week or each month if each week is too much for you. But if you did a half hour a week, your space would be pretty clean. And that would really make a difference. But if it's an hour a month, then do an hour in a month. But I recommend a half hour a week. Now, let's shift gears into the mental and emotional clutter, which is a lot of what takes up space in our life. Physical clutter is, maybe stuff on your desk or stuff, on the floor, on the shelves or in the cabinets. But mental clutter is the constant chatter in your head. Now, you're not going to get rid of that little voice, right? But you can impact the quality of the little voice and what it's talking about. But the endless to-do lists and unresolved conflicts in your life, or the self-doubt, should I, shouldn't I, is this good? Is this bad? All of those what if thoughts, like, well, what if I had done this, or what if I do this, and then what's going to happen? That's what keeps us up at night. So just like physical clutter, mental clutter takes up valuable energy and attention, and it leaves you drained and distracted. But here's the good news: you can declutter your mind just like you can declutter your physical space. So here's how. First of all, write down whatever is clogging up your brain. So if you feel your mind feels crowded, you feel overwhelmed, just grab a notebook or a Google Doc or something and just do a brain dump. Write down everything on your mind. You don't have to worry about the grammar or the order. Just brain dump whatever's there. Tasks, worries, ideas. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Immediately, you will have some space. You will have more room to breathe. Two, you got to start dealing with what you're saying yes to. A lot of us have a lot of mental clutter because we say yes to too many things. Saying no to certain requests that people or invitations that people are making of you that don't align with your vision or fulfill on your goals is an important muscle to develop. And a lot of people are people pleasers, so they just say yes to everything and then they end up overwhelmed. So being able to discern what's consistent with what you're up to in life, what's consistent with your values, with your vision, and saying yes to those things. And when you say yes to it, put it in your calendar so that it's not a we'll do lunch someday, it's in reality. The third piece of this strategy is to practice being present. What do I mean by that? Take a few minutes each day. It doesn't have to be a long time, but take a few minutes to just sit and be. Maybe it's meditation, maybe it's breathing, maybe you're journaling, maybe you take a short walk and just actually be with the environment. Look at a tree, look at the water, look at a flower, and just be with whatever it is that you're being with. You don't even have to get so kind of like woo woo about it. You could just be with a coffee cup. You could just literally just be with some physical item and see if you can just have all your attention be on that thing so that you're actually here now, not in a million thoughts about other things. So just practice that a few minutes every day. And then the other thing is to resolve any unfinished business, things that are incomplete, like maybe you have something you haven't said to somebody, or you've withheld something that's weighing on your mind. Maybe it's an unspoken apology or some tough decision that you've been avoiding because you don't want to deal with the conflict. Deal with it. Clearing emotional clutter requires facing whatever we've been avoiding. And the real magic starts to happen when you clear both the physical and the mental space. The non-physical and the physical together is like magic. It's like clearing a cluttered garden. Once the weeds are gone, the soil has room to breathe and new growth can emerge. Suddenly you're able to focus on what really matters to you, whether it's growing your business or deepening your relationships or simply just enjoying your life. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one physical space. Actually, pick one space, physical or mental, this week, and actually go to decluttering it. Maybe it's your closet. Maybe it's your inbox. Maybe it's a tough conversation you have been avoiding with somebody in your life. Take an action to declutter that space, whether it's physical or mental, and notice how much lighter and freer you feel having done so. So email me and let me know what you discover out of taking on this practice. I respond to every email. Send it to Joss at theartofbeingunmessablewith.com. If this was valuable for you, by all means, like the episode, rate it, review it, and share it with anybody that you think could use a little more space and freedom in their life. And we'll see you on the next episode of Be Unmessable With, the podcast. Thank you for joining us in this episode of Be Unmessable with the podcast. And I never take for granted that you spend time with me. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you a gift, as I usually do after every episode. And if you would like to learn how to hack your reactions and shift over to the world of creation in an instant, in a reliable step by step process, you can download my free hack system that will take you out of being stuck and put you right into action. Enjoy.